We're gonna get started. I have here a spaghetti squash that I've roasted. When you get a spaghetti squash, just cut it in half, scoop out all the seeds, and then I put this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 35-40 minutes. And once it's cool, just use your fork. This is always the most fun and exciting part of these. And scoop all those pieces out that look like noodles, and that's just the flesh of the spaghetti squash. Obviously, that's why it has its name. And we're just going to scoop those into a bowl. All right, we've got all these spaghetti squash noodly pieces into a big bowl, and now we're going to make the sauce. So over here to the food processor, this is 1.5 cups of coconut milk. That's almost just about a whole can of coconut milk. This is a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. So already right off the bat, this is going to be delicious because those are two delicious, wonderful things. This is 1/8 cup of maple syrup and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. I'm going to use that. It has some nutmeg in there. All right, let's get all of this blended together. Ooh, that looks good. You can probably just put this in a bowl and eat it if you wanted to. All right, we're gonna make something with it though. So this is super duper creamy, and we're gonna pour that. You don't have to use all of it at first, kind of see, it depends on how big your spaghetti squash is, so we'll pour some of that on the squash and then just mix everything up. And this would be a good time also to make sure that your oven is set to 350 degrees so we can bake our casserole. So go ahead and do that now. And you just want to get everything covered, so add a little more if you need it. And once this is all mixed together, just pour that in a casserole dish. There we go. Someone is going to be very happy to lick the bowl. And we're going to flatten this out now in our casserole dish. And once that's all flat, we can get started on making the crumble. Now we're going to get started on the toasted crumble for the top of this. So take a tablespoon of olive oil and put that in a pan. You could also use a vegan butter if you'd prefer. Let's see, we're gonna add some coconut. This is just like a tablespoon or so of coconut flakes and some peanuts. You can crush these if you want. These are just roasted, unsalted peanuts. A tablespoon of maple syrup. We'll use 1 teaspoon of a really good vanilla extract and about 3/4 cup of rolled oats or oatmeal. And we'll mix this up, we'll get it on the stove and just kind of like toss it around a little bit to get everything really toasty, and then we'll come back and pour it on top. Okay, so the squash casserole has been in the oven for 25 minutes, and you can see that it got nice and crispy, nice and toasty, so we are gonna slice that up. And if it's a little warm still, it may not cut in perfect little squares, so you can let it cool a little bit before you cut it. But it should cut for you. So you can serve this while it's still warm. I picture eating this on a lazy Sunday afternoon in my pajamas, cuddled up with the dog, reading a book. That's what this makes me think of. I hope you guys try this and love it. This is a spaghetti squash and peanut sauce casserole with a coconut peanut crumble.